people on the call have the misfortune of already having kind of been on a call, not with me personally, so it's not too bad. The private mastermind that I run, they just had their leadership call. So there'll be 2 hours of action-packed value back to back, which is exciting. Okay, so what I've done for this call today, I had another partner that was going to join this call, but they had to drop out last minute because they were sick or had a vacation or something. I work really closely with Rebuy. For anybody who doesn't know Rebuy, they've been taking the industry by storm, the Shopify industry specifically, in the personalization side for the last year. I think that you guys have come in pretty hard over the last year and like really dominated and taken a lot of market share. And I work really closely with the Rebuy team. And I know that in the run up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, there's a lot of A/B testing, personalization, like all of that good stuff. And I said, look, do you want to come in and share some of your insights with other people? So whether you're a Shopify agency or it doesn't matter what platform or what service, personalization is still highly valuable. So the guys at Rebuy are going to share some of their insights for some of the leading brands that are working with the platform. Is that a good intro?
That's a great intro. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. So my name is Aaron and I lead our agency program over here at Rebuy. I'm based in the Seattle area out in Washington. And I was mentioning earlier, I'll actually be in London for the agency fun day that Rachel's throwing the end of the month. I'll be there in like the UK for like a week or so doing a little road show. So if you're around, feel free to say hi. So I've got a presentation I put together. This is a little bit of a rehash of something that I've been doing a little bit as a lead up to BFCM. But, when Rachel reached out, I was like, oh, I've got I think the perfect content. So we'll go into that. I'm also going to pause my Slack messages. And then the other side of this is I just wanted to give a little bit of background on myself as well. So before I start sharing my screen or whatever. So I've been in the e-commerce industry for a little over 10 years. I've worked both as an entrepreneur in the space, building my own business, doing drop ship, trying to build a tech product around dropship. That was a spectacular failure, but I learned a lot from it. And it was, kind of channel marketplace stuff. And then I've worked with Shopify for a long time as well, both on the agency side and the merchant side. So I was an agency project manager here in Seattle for about 4 years, a little short of 4 years, and was responsible for all of the bidding and sales process and actually running the projects for a small boutique agency of 12 people based in the US with an outsourced team in Ukraine. Now, I say all that because I've lived a lot of the life that we're all here just kind of jointly living. But a few years ago, I switched over to the tech side and moved to Recharge. And I was there for 2 years as the West Coast agency partner manager. And then following that, early last year, I moved over to run things at Rebuy. So what I'm going to talk about today is kind of encompasses that experience a little bit and just my perspective that I'm trying to bring to our company, my team, everything else about how we approach working with agency partners globally. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And I never use Chrome, so this is the or the Google Meets, I should say. All right, so we should be seeing my screen now, which is great.
Perfect.
Awesome. So so basically, as Rachel is saying, Rebuy is a personalization platform within the Shopify ecosystem. Right now, we've been around for about 4 years as a company. We've been really hitting our stride over the last 2 years, seen a lot of success, in particular because of the agency partners we've been partnering with. We've grown that network 5 or 6x in the last year in terms of active agencies, and then those who are raising their hand saying, hey, can I have a part of that? And the value of that is that Rebuy just really hits on so many really key touch points for the agencies that we get to work with. It allows you, regardless if you're like a web design agency, web design and development agency first, or paid performance, or email marketing, or CRO, you have some tie-in of Rebuy to your services. And I think that that is just one of the really like awesome things about our product. But then we also have like a really diverse set of tools within the product. So we'll go through some of that today. But one of the first things I wanted to do was just take a look all up. I really just wanted to start out by talking about our company values. We actually do a monthly town hall with our whole company. We always start out with this slide. And I think it's really important for us to talk about that, because I think it really impacts how we engage with people. So our 3 company values that we push are empathy, hard work, and respect. And the idea is that we, care about our customer, the product, and each other internally. But when we talk about customer, we're also meaning not just the brands, but the agency and the tech partners and the platform partners that we work with. We're trying to create mutual value. And we understand that we're all coming from really like different spots, and we're trying to listen to each other. And kind of going down to the like respect side, that plays into how we engage with each other, how we build content, how we build products, and then how we listen to each other and get product feedback and kind of grow with each other over time. And then finally, we just put in a lot of hard work. We talk about it being kind of like a sports team analogy. Usually there's some sort of like sports team tie-in when we do these town halls. And then it's a lot of fun to be able to think about like how we're all, engaging with each other. Now, the reason why I bring all this up is because I think it's really important for, obviously all the things I've discussed so far, but when we think about our mission as Rebuy is to create intelligent, fast, and integrated personalization services. So it's intelligent shopping experiences, right? So the idea is we're going to delight customers who are interacting with the brands that we all get to serve together. And we're going to delight them by putting new product experiences, new offers, language, new, kind of interactions in front of them that are tailored to their experience. And so, again, we really focus on that. And that's something you'll see on our product over and over again. And we like to say, this is what John, our CEO, likes to say. He says, we'll know we're doing a good job when our customers say we're doing a good job. And, we've been lucky enough to have our customers say that a lot, and they're candid with us when we're not doing a great job. So we try to fix those as well. So, but yeah, what this means for the agencies and brands that we serve. So we're laser focused on delivering products, services that through a world-class partner program that create meaningful and sustained growth for brands with agency help. So we're not trying to do things ourselves. Like if we put our effort into carrying the flag ourselves, we'll find ourselves like missing out. We want to bring those who are with us. And we also believe that this bolsters the agency's results by increasing brand confidence during tough times, creates expertise with you and your team members to be able to lead into longer and bigger retainers, bigger projects through migrations and otherwise, and then increased overall profitability for everybody involved. So with that, we're providing trainings, solutions engineering for complex builds, sales support, customer support, you name it. We're leaning in on all fronts with our agencies, and we're building a lot of value through that. So as we go through that, we have started to think about, okay, so how do we like frame our product? So Rebuy itself, like I've said before, is a Shopify centric product. It's for both, core Shopify brands and Shopify Plus brands. When we think about like the idea of like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? Like this crunch time where the revenues swing up, the profitability kind of takes a weird turn for brands. They're trying to figure out how to like get their nut for the next year. How do you make sure you're doing the right thing? And so this comes back to just this philosophy that we have around experimentation. So for probably the last 2 years, we've had a JavaScript-based solution for like DevTools type solution that works with third-party offerings like VWO or Google Optimize to run experiments. And then recently, in the last month or so, we actually launched an internal tool for A/B testing, so you can guarantee the best results. So when you put a Rebuy product page, recommended products carousel in front of someone, you're putting the right product carousel options and language and offer, given all the options that you could have. So that testing suite is available to everybody. As a just kind of point of reference, Rebuy is actually available to work all throughout the pre-purchase journey for a customer, but also post-purchase as well. So some of the things we'll look at today are like things you see on like the homepage, perhaps, or the PDP, or collection, or accounts, or otherwise, right? And then some things you're going to see on external tools like Klaviyo, or Attentive, or Recharge, or things like that. So A/B testing allows you across all those pre-purchase flows to test and retest what's going to work. And you can use that with any of our widgets that are on the pre-purchase flow, with some minor exceptions that we're closing the gap on over the rest of the year. So any questions on this, or should I just keep going, Rachel? Okay. So for a lot of brands, they come to us and they're looking for a solution that's going to help to increase conversions at the place where people have already made a purchase decision, right? They've decided to add something to the cart, but they're looking to not only increase like the rate of conversion, but also the value of those conversions. And so for like BFCM specifically, our smart cart option becomes really valuable for brands. We have a few thousand brands that are using this. This is a fly out cart that'll come in as used by these brands. It has a lot of different functionality around like tiered progress bars. So being able to do free shipping or a gift with purchase, kind of like motivator as you go through. Buy more, save more, which I'll get to in a second. And then also just like throwing in additional widgets like the, product discovery or cross-sell and upsell opportunities that we have as well. So we have that ability through our smart cart. And as you can see, we also do the accelerated payment options easily turned on. And then also like social proof, like Okendo and stamped smart card apps. So we have a suite of apps that allow brands to say like, hey, I not only want to have this great experience in terms of like product discovery, but I want to add a little bit of a snippet for my loyalty program or my reviews or SMS capture to get, an increased discount and build that list. You're able to do that really easily through what we call smart card apps, and it's easy to turn on. So as we go through this, you'll see that, using, for example, Recharge, we're able to do an upgrade to subscription right within the cart. So as soon as someone puts something in for a one-time purchase, you're able to easily just click and upgrade to subscription. And then you can, either take a no-code solution, essentially just turning on our smart cart, and it's, kind of basic glory, right? Or you can take it and you can reevaluate it for your brand. And then you can add in the various things like you see with Everyman Jack over here on the right. So those types of things are ways that brands are coming in and working with us a lot and preparing for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So as we kind of shift here and we look at like smart card a little bit more in depth, buy more, save more is a relatively new feature for us. It's getting a lot of traction within the ecosystem. Basically, it's a way for brands to offer 2, 3, 4, some amount of certain products on a heavy discount, saying, hey, let's move some slow moving inventory. And like, if someone puts this in their cart, let's incentivize increased conversions of that, with the idea that someone is more likely, and there's a lot of data that backs this up, someone's more likely to come back as a repeat customer and be loyal if they purchased 3 or more products from you in one time. So like the idea is that like over time, if you bought 3 products, you're more loyal usually. So let's see if we can get you to 3 products sooner. So buy more, save more makes a real easy way for brands on both Shopify Core and Plus to do that. And it, paired with the right BFCM, kind of opportunity, you can really augment your campaigns for your brands that you're working with to be able to say like, look, we're going to push certain products very heavily through this. And it's a really easy way for them to turn it on and then monitor results and like augment over time. So, and then additionally in the smart cart, I've mentioned this before, like the free gift with purchase. So there's the buildup of that through like our tier progress bar. It's like a unique kind of scenario where you can have up to like 4 different stages where someone's like earning additional like unlocks essentially. But gift with purchase could also just be like used to build a sampling program, or just to allow someone independent of the free tier, the tier progress bar, to be able to pick a product or to have a product added to their cart when they meet a certain threshold or whatever conditions that you set up. And Rebuy itself is set up in such a way where you have like 2 sides of the equation, right? You have the, what does this look like on site, like a carousel or a drop down or a dynamic bundle or something like that. And then you have the rules that govern it. And we call those a data source. So when I've mentioned, like the A/B testing before, that's done on the widget side, but you essentially would attach a data source to a widget to be able to create value. And so the brands that we're seeing create the most value, like driving a ton of excitement for their brands, are using gift with purchase in particular to target certain customer types who have come to them before, who are tagged in a certain way, or coming through certain campaigns, are coming through on certain days, to be able to say, hey, we're going to promote certain products to them to increase conversion and increase stickiness of the product overall. So that's something that gift with purchase has been able to unlock for our brands. And I meant to pull out the Shopify scripts thing here. So right now we're scripts first on the build out of free gift with purchase, but in the future this will be something that we'll replace with functions as well. And then at that point, with some kind of like automated discount kind of workarounds, you can be able to roll out to core as well. But that's something that I'll share with the resources after the call as well. And this is a view of it kind of in action. Brand called Magic Spoon. So they offer this free Magic Spoon when you buy above a certain threshold. So that's something that they've done to put in place to build the cart value and grow over time. And then, so we talked about a lot of the like pre-purchase stuff. So, but what happens when someone actually does make a purchase? So something I don't have in here, which I'm just going to hit on quick, is we have a checkout extension available. We've for a long time had the checkout.liquid version of like a Rebuy upsell kind of widget available to our brands on Plus. And with the transition that Shopify is pushing, with the advent of extensions, we're continuing to push that as well. So with the checkout extensions, that's something that later this month or early next month, we're planning to offer as part of our suite of products for free for our brands. So this is kind of an early sneak peek of that. That's something that we're going to be pushing, but that's not mentioned here, but that was something that is available during the checkout phase of the process. For post-purchase, most of us here have probably interacted with some sort of post-purchase before or set it up for a client. The idea of post-purchase is that it is a offer right after someone has, entered, has completed a checkout. The card details are captured, the payment's captured, you're locked in, but we're offering them one or more kind of like upsell offers at that point to increase the AOV of that order. So if they choose to accept an offer, we could, or accept or decline an offer, we have the ability to offer more steps beyond that, number one, but everything that they accept will be added as a new charge onto the existing order, and the order is edited to allow all those items to be shipped together in the same order shipment. So this is something that like provides a real big value to brands that are trying to figure out like, how do we get these complementary products that we've been pushing during this, holiday frenzy. Like we've got this push that we're trying to do, but how do we make sure that it's paired with the right, context specific product that's going to drive loyalty and satisfaction, maybe even profitability for the brands as they go through this. So that's where post-purchase really comes in. And so you'll see it with an offer like this, where you can, immediately offer them maybe an additional complementary product or something that like could be kind of an impulse purchase or something like that. So that's something where it's a risk-free AOV boost, and it sees a lot of traction within the industry. And then I've got a few more things I was going to cover here, but basically, once you get after the purchase, outside of the Shopify kind of website view, we're also allowing for product recommendations through marketing. So within the order confirmation email flow, for example, you can use Rebuy's recommendations in that flow to provide ready-made, tailored, dynamic recommendations, recommended products in those emails. And then additionally, as we go through here, on the reorder landing page that we provide, you could say to someone either through a flow or through a campaign, hey, you've purchased this product before, let's send you to a page where we can, help you restock with ease. And these can be used in many different ways, but basically they kind of look like this, where you either come in and you take advantage of our, no code solution, or you do a little customization here like DuraDry did, and then we pull in the previous order through the Shopify order ID, and then we populate that cart, and then we show them some additional products there. And so the idea is that you can serve this up through Klaviyo emails or SMS, attentive SMS as well. And it's something that like the brands that are using this see a lot of value with. Now, typically that's going to be on like the CPG type space. It's consumable because you're like trying to reorder the same thing. But I've actually talked with some brands that have more like durable goods, like fashion and apparel or home goods. And the idea here is like, this is an easy way to say, hey, look, this is what you've been interested in so far. We've populated the cart. We've given you some other options, but honestly, because we have the cart already pre-populated, it's a tailored view. You can remove that product and have these other ones and go straight to checkout from here. And so it's a way to engage in a branded experience that reminds them of their affinity, but doesn't lock them into like reordering that thing. It just happens to be pre-populated. They can always remove that, add some other stuff, and keep going. So that's a unique kind of way when planning these campaigns around the holidays, where brands of any type can say, hey, I want to drive this in various ways. And I mentioned how like on the campaigns, like within Klaviyo, you can use this. So if we go back just a little bit, if we go back to the Rebuy events, when we're tracking that someone actually placed an order using like Rebuy, or like basically just track that they created an order, then we're able to append onto that Klaviyo customer profile the Shopify or the Rebuy reorder landing page link, and that dynamically updates for them every time they place an order. So we're putting that into the Klaviyo customer profile so that you can use that under any time for a campaign, regardless of the season or the use case. So and again, all this will be available through our resources that I'll share at the end. And then kind of one of the last things I was going to talk about is just smart links. So we've all talked about like we all see the value of like pushing through specific experiences based on like the campaigns, especially if you're like paid performance in particular. Say you are running a campaign where everybody that comes through these particular Google links will need to see a certain offer. They want to see a certain social proof. They want to be able to like see certain products paired with each other. Smart links are able to create like straight to checkout views that have like maybe like a call out bar at the top that says, hey, here's the offer that has been put in front of you. It's really easy to stand up on both Shopify Core and Shopify Plus. But the idea is that you're able to land on a page that's uniquely tailored to that campaign. And then one of the things that I haven't mentioned before, but it's important to know, is like through our data source rules, one of the rules that you can have is if someone comes from this URL, what do we do with them? And then if you had a chain of those types of rules across various Rebuy widgets throughout the purchase experience, if you had those tied into UTM parameters, because those are session based and they kind of persist through, you can actually, wherever someone goes, put the right product in front of them to make sure that they're getting the upsells that they need, the cross sells that are relevant to them. And like I was saying before, the ability to literally make sure that someone doesn't walk or check out of the store without complementary contextual products that they actually need to have a good experience with the brand. So that's something that you can use smart links to kind of kick off if you wanted, and you can also use the data sources to kind of talk through. So I'm kind of free ranging here a little bit because there's so much to do with Rebuy. I mean, honestly, I think I mentioned earlier, we have 19 individual products. We like enumerated them internally, and we're like, wow, it's a lot to like convey to the market, and there's a lot to learn. So what we want to do is, for any agencies who are using Rebuy, we want to lean in with you, with our merchant success teams, with the partner management teams, with the solution engineering teams, to be able to be experts with you. We're primary experts on Rebuy. You're primary experts on your clients and the ecosystem at large and the strategies that you're putting in place. We want to put that together and create a better experience for everybody. And I think that was my last slide.
Nice.
I didn't have a resource slide at the end, and I'm just slinging some some knowledge over here. Hopefully it's helpful for everybody. Thanks for listening to me kind of go through everything here.
I guess I'd be keen to know, is there anybody here that's actually using Rebuy already? No? There you go. Not one person. Have you come across it? Not at the moment. Has anybody come across it before? You can come off mute and talk.
Hi, I just have a quick question. Here,
yeah.
Get my video camera here. Hello. Great presentation. Thank you. Looks like it integrates with quite a bit. And it seems like a lot of the advanced features require integration with something else. Is that accurate, or am I missing something?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much I can cover in a presentation like this. So I tried to cover things that like tie in with more integrations because there's just a lot more power to that. But you can use Rebuy with 0 integrations with anything else if you wanted. Say, for example, we have on the PDP like dynamic bundling that's available. Just build one-click bundles, right?
Okay.
That are based on whatever rules. You don't have to have anything else to make that work.
Okay.
So that's, the thing is you can use Rebuy with or without third-party integrations.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And I'm assuming if I go to the site, there's like a list of stuff it can do without integrations, right?
Oh yeah. If you go to our website, you go to the product side, you'll be able to see all of our like main like flagship products. And then like I was mentioning, there's these like offshoot products that are like attached to each of them. So like right now we're trying to organize a lot of our conversation around the use of like A/B testing to test the various like widgets. And there's like multiple widget types we have. All of those widgets that you can test using A/B testing, those are independent of third-party integration. So that's on like the homepage, PDP, check, within the cart, account pages, you name it.
And then the A/B testing, I'm assuming it's automated to where like the winner starts to get presented more often than the loser, and it kind of changes as it goes. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's going to publish if you run like a kind of a dated test where it has like a start and end date, it will run the test, and based on like whatever met your qualifying criteria, it'll take the winner and publish that through. You can also choose to like end an experiment and not do that and just collect the data and then like do something else, like pivot from here. So you can kind of do both.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
What tool are you using, just out of interest, for personalization? Or what tools are people using for personalization now? Nothing. Nobody's using anything.
Yeah, so we just kind of code it into the product pages. Like we do similar things of like 1 month, 3 months, 6 months with percentages for the 3 month and the 6 month. But we just kind of build it into design into the product pages. So, and we do this for like pretty much all of our, like our whole roster. So we're interested in seeing, yeah, just kind of like, can this make that easier? Because it is a pain to create like the different SKUs for the bundles, and we do it in a very manual, tedious way.
Yeah. I mean, it should be a lot easier than doing it that way. So a lot of the agencies that we work with, they've toyed around with some sort of custom approach to many different solutions that we provide. And we're like, well, we have this that can like replace that. And then it makes it easier for both you to implement, but then also like the brand to like use going forward. And what that allows you to do is like focus on some other stuff that's like more complex, that doesn't have a ready off the shelf use from an app like us. Right. And I think that's the value, for you. One part of the value for you is to say like, hey, let's make your life easier and quit pulling your hair out on this one. And like, just implement something that's gonna be easier for you and for your clients.
What about people that are not using Shopify? What are you guys doing for personalization? Gentian, most of your stuff is BigCommerce and Magento, right? What do you guys use for personalization? Is it all custom, or are you using specific tools?
Yeah, a lot of like Nosto, I think, and a few more solutions that I cannot come up with them right now, but there's quite a few ways. Klebu has its own personalization, for example.
Yeah, and we come across those guys in the Shopify space too. What's interesting is when we actually work alongside Nosto on a site. So Nosto has a lot of like segmentation, like UGC type stuff that they're trying to do. Less around like the actual like revenue generating, like upsell, cross sell. And so you kind of can pair them in a way. Definitely they have some stuff that they do that like overlaps with us, and the same for like Clayvu and other players out there. I think I even saw Bloom Reach out there on the list. Like we have both complementary and competing options, and that's where I love to come in with agencies who are on specifically, like I said, on Shopify, to say like, well, how do we just like create some value here? Like, let's just prove it, because I think that's the real fun part, is like creating value that you can prove. And then, you know, if we can win the business outright from an Osto or Clayvu or something, we're always happy to do that. But like, we just want to do what's best for the brands.
But right now, you guys are exclusively focused on Shopify, Shopify Plus.
Yeah, so our current product is built Shopify first, right? Like we started out just kind of way back. We started out as a product built out of an agency for a Shopify merchant, and it kind of ballooned from there in terms of like the, you know, scope and complexity and everything else. But what we found is we have brands coming to us saying, hey, can you build into Commerce Tools or Salesforce Commerce Cloud or BigCommerce? And we're engaged with those brands now to figure out what are their needs as we make our product more flexible and extensible by building like new APIs, so that we are going to be able to service those other platforms with ease. Because right now, a lot of Rebuy, if you were to look under the hood, it's very Shopify centric, and we're trying to move to something that's more like agnostic than anything, so that regardless if it's an e-commerce or even like outside of e-commerce scenario, Rebuy would be able to plug and play in there depending on the usage. Yeah, and dynamic yield is another one that
the dynamic yield is fucking expensive. That is, like, if I'm not mistaken, I think the minimum starting price is around 50 or 75K just to get started with them. Like, that's the lowest pricing plan. So that's a very expensive. You're going to pay for the agency, you're paying for your platform, you're paying for the tech stack. You need to have a lot of money to throw around to use a dynamic yield. I have an agency that I think that they're number one dynamic yield preferred partner, or especially in the Shopify space for sure. They do a lot of that work, but it's so expensive.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree. I would say that like that's the value for us, is that, you know, we're not as expensive on the subscription fees or anything like that, but then we're also not as expensive on like the setup side of things. And I think that's kind of a sword that kind of cuts both ways, I guess, for the agency side, where like you want to have your backlog of projects, but you want to have something that's easy to use. And I've come across various people from time to time who've said, oh, well, maybe you're taking like work off of us. And I'm like, hey, like, here's the thing, like Rebuy should be boosting profitability, boosting results before anything else. And it's the thing that pays for all the other like pie in the sky stuff that the brands are going, oh, I gotta go do that. Because it's like Rebuy is going to generate 15 to 20% additional revenue for a brand if they're doing it right. It's all, I mean, a lot of it's like how you use Rebuy. It's not just plug and play. You got to like think about this stuff. And that's where y'all get to come in with like the strategy layer plus the ease of implementation, and you look like heroes the whole time. So I see that story play out literally every day. And I think it's really, it's really inspiring.
Is the best process for like an agency wanting to explore it to just go through, sign on as a partner through your guys' website and go that way? Or what's the best way to access like some sort of sandbox, or I don't know, see how this would apply to like client lists and things like that? What's best next step?
I mean, after these roundtables, I always send a recap email round with all the contact details, and I'll share Aaron's slide deck as well. I would say personally, it's probably, if you've been on a call like this, a direct introduction with the Rebuy team is probably better, because it's going to move much quicker rather than just going through, applying to be a partner. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. I mean, we're a small program. We got 3 partner managers plus me. So someone's going to see you immediately and reach out to you. So either way, but happy to help. We can chat today, we can chat tomorrow, get you up and running, get you a free sandbox environment. No problem.
Sounds good. Could you toss your email in the chat?
Yeah, I can do that.
David, were you going to say something earlier? It's David Wright from Vivid Sites, pretty sure.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks.
David.
I was just going to let you. I slipped my mind, but you asked about personalization. Dynamic yield is very expensive, yes, and complex. You asked, if there's others. AB, Tasty, Nostro, Telium. These are some that some of our clients have worked with. But so I just wanted to help answer your question.
Aaron, how does pricing work? Like how do you structure your pricing? Is it per product, per individual product, or do you like bundle it, or how does it work?
Yeah, it's all included, one price right now. So you just pay the subscription fee. The pricing on the website is tailored for like the merchant view and ease of like understanding. But like the long and short of it is we have these tiers based on that. First, we base them on size of the brand in terms of orders per month, right? And we do that as a way to say like, well, you'll use so much resources from us or whatever. And then from there, because we take attribution for when someone clicks and adds a product to cart from one of our widgets or discovers a product, and we have a really tight attribution window, we will give the brands based on like what tier they're in a certain amount of what we call rebuy generated revenue is like the bucket. And it's all part of it, like a fixed price. There's 5 fixed prices going from $99 USD up to $9.99. And then once you get above that, you start opening like additional buckets for like a little extra charge. It ultimately works out, if you did the math, like 2.5% kind of take rate from our side. And then we negotiate that with brands that are like, I don't want your book rates, I want something better. So we'll always do that too. So, but it's basically, if you just imagine you have a brand, like 2.5% take rate on like whatever we generate. So something that is coming, like I mentioned, the checkout extensions being free, that's a plan that we have for later on this month for the Shopify Plus brands. But additionally, when we roll out that plan, we'll also give brands their first $1,000 in rebuy generated revenue for free. So you could, right now we basically have everything set up as like a free trial window. Instead, you'll be able to like stand up something in your own time. You're not paying a subscription fee to start. It's not like we're sitting over here with a bucket that's just like hanging out ready to be used. It's like once you start using us, then we'll start charging instead of the other way around. So that's a little bit of a pricing innovation that we're going to be launching later this month or early next month.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Is it Leston? Am I pronouncing the name right?
Yestin.
Yeston. Oh, wow. I got called Rick yesterday by someone, so could be worse. What tech stack are you guys on?
We predominantly, pretty much we're a Shopify Plus partner, so that's all we do.
And what about personalization? Who are you working with?
We do a fair bit of Nosto.
I feel like Nosto is pretty strong in Europe and UK specifically. It's been there for a long time.
Yeah, I've just come from APAC, and it's doing pretty well in ANZ as well, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But that's probably
we definitely come across it a lot when we're talking to our European counterparts. And we're building an APAC presence more right now, and I've heard it more and more over there. But like I said, it's like there's both the complementary and the competitive side. So I think there's a lot of room for us both to eat at the same table.
Yeah, I think it just depends on price point, right? Depends on how price sensitive your clients are and how expensive their tech stack. If I don't know all the pricing of all the tech stacks, but we used to use Nosto back in the day when I was at Underwater Pistol, and it was about $850 for the DIY version, so like the do-it-yourself sort of system, or the lower level one was about $850 a month, and then it went up from there. But most clients are about $1,200-$1,500. Is it still around that price?
It's
or-
even more expensive now, and they have
Oh.
acquired the search company as well that they're bundled with their solution.
Yeah, that's
So
right. Mm.
yeah.
Okay. So I guess it depends when it comes to tech stack. It's having options that are best in class in terms of what the client wants to pay for, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So might be one to look at. I'm just saying, like, you do what you want. You roll with whoever. But most of my agencies that I work with some of the top Shopify Plus agencies across Europe, and most of them have. I'm not a salesperson on behalf of Rebuy. I don't get paid a referral fee for the introductions, but most of my bigger Shopify Plus agencies have all migrated or moved over or moved their clients over. Just pricing alone, functionality and pricing and those two things. So it means the agency can take more money and get more value from it in terms of like billable hours. That's worked really well for them. There's some people that are very loyal to a particular tech stack. And if you're loyal to them, then you just stay with that tech stack. Like Yotpo. I don't want to shit all over Yotpo, but like there's people that would like die for Yotpo. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like you could have 10 partners instead of one partner. Why would you just stay with one? But whatever. Like you guys do what you want. Is there any other questions? Is there any other good, useful bits of information, Aaron? Is there any stuff that you're seeing around like what brands are doing or how they're leveraging the technology or just personalization in general, what they're doing that's different now from before? Do you think they're becoming more savvy?
Yeah. I mean, it's becoming more like mainstream to talk about personalization, but everybody still gets confused about like what it is. I mean, as you can even see, I'm presenting. I like to be transparent and candid. Like I'm presenting a bunch of different products that like put the right products with the right offers in front of someone. I think that has a lot of value in certain like contexts to have conversation, but then someone's gonna be like, well, what does that mean about personalization? And I say, well, really what we're talking about is personalization for revenue generation, right? So it's like product centric. Some people, they think about personalization and they're thinking about like, I get on a site and everything's switched around for me. And, the things that I'm seeing are tailored to who I am, not just like what I see, but where on the site and everything. And that's not something that we really push a lot of because we think that that's just over engineering. I mean, keep it simple. Like certain patterns work in e-commerce, use those patterns, test with A/B testing. You can use an A/B test with Rebuy to test the placement of widgets on a page. Same widget, two different places on a page. How's it work? You want to try that? Figure it, have fun, figure it out. We'll be here to help you out. But like the real value is like trying something. And that's the thing that we really believe that brands are starting to embrace. So we've got brands, I mean, being in the Shopify space, you can imagine we have brands from the smallest startups to some of the biggest brands that we all know saying, oh, let's use you to like fix this thing for us. And the brands at the top end are using us to just accelerate revenue growth without impacting profitability. That is why they come to us. It's not about like, did I get all of the right like little bits of content in front of someone? When Joe shows up to my shop versus Jane, am I doing something different for them? No, it's like, let's just optimize revenue because it's a tough world out there. It's been a tough, couple of years. And we got to be able to, work in that way. So those are the types of things we see. But we get a ton of insights from the brands we work with because anybody that is partnered with us would know this. We like lean in really heavy on like performance of Rebuy as part of the overall like stack. And we have a lot of data that we interact with our agencies on to like chat through that kind of stuff. And then report back insights to them that say, hey, maybe this could be impactful for this thing that you're selling or this other thing that you're trying to do. And I think that's the, that's the rub in times like this, where you just got to like figure out what's working, but then figure out like what works for you as an agency and for the brands that you represent.
Nice. Any other questions? Okay. Excellent. Well, you send me over the slides. I'll do an email roundup. I'll get the link uploaded, and then connect everybody in email then for anyone who wants to chat after.
I got a quick question. If we register a lead, do you contact the leads, or do you wait for us to?
No. We wait for you. So, I mean, I'm a big believer in, taking our cues from the agencies, right? So, if you register a lead with us, you can also tell us what you want us to do with it. There's like a little notes section for our partners. I mean, if you email me a lead, same deal. We basically just kind of hold on to it for a period of 60 days and just kind of check in with you, like, hey, are they going to install, or like ask for an intro for like a demo or something? What are we trying to do with them? And then if it needs to extend outside, 60 days or whatever, we'll try to work with you on that. But for the most part, we're just real chill about it. So we just try to make sure that we're getting in front of people when they're ready to use us. We're not trying to get in too early. I mean, we come in for both like phase 2, phase 3 optimization type projects, but also we're getting brought into a lot of like migrations and stuff, like theme rebuilds, where they're like, oh, okay, so like we're about to spend $200,000 on this thing. Let's make sure that we're getting the most out of it. So that's been nice. So with those, it takes a little bit extra time.
Yeah, I just became a partner and I'm registering my first lead. So great job.
Awesome. This is perfect.
All right.
That worked out well.
Yeah.
That'll cost you $1 million. I'll split it with you, David. 70-30.
Sounds great.
All right, guys, this is awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. I know this was last minute to get me on here, so thanks for bearing with me on the presentation. And if anybody has any questions, you'll have my information. It's in the chat, so feel free to ping me. I'm always open for a quick Zoom chat or whatever. Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Muy bien.